that time, baby.
The big game. The big game.
I don't know. This is one of the first Super Bowls where it's kind of, I don't know who's going to win this.
You think so?
This is one of the closest ones.
It's definitely up in the air, and it's interesting. Because there's a team that you could say you wouldn't be surprised if they dominate this game.
But there's a team I wouldn't be surprised if they win.
Because for this whole playoffs and season, they've just been defying the odds. No matter what, they don't care.
Like, honestly, so the Chiefs, when they went against the Bucks, people were kind of like, But most people thought that the Chiefs were better.
Yeah.
Right?
Bucks.
49ers versus Chiefs.
That was pretty even, actually.
It was actually pretty close. But I think more people thought the Chiefs were going to win because of Patrick Mahomes, how great
they were definitely favorites, yes.
This one, people might have favorites because the Bengals have lost so many games. But if you really think about it, would you want to bet against the Bengals?
Not right now. Not with the way they're playing.
I wouldn't want to bet against them. Even if I do think the Rams might win. I don't know, Dro.
No, I don't know either. This is, and it's a fun Super Bowl because even though it hurts, because I do believe the Niners had a very good opportunity to be in this game. Either way, I can't get upset at who wins. You know, although I don't want to see the Rams, I sound like I'm rooting for the Rams, like I'm rooting for the Bengals type thing. There's players on the Rams that you would like to see win.
Oh,
right? Matthew Stafford. It would be cool to see Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald, Odell Beckham get their first ring.
Jalen
Ramsey. See those guys get a ring. But on the other hand, the Bengals don't care about that. This Bengals team reminds me, this Super Bowl actually reminds me of Super Bowl back in 2001. This is Tom Brady's first ever Super Bowl win. Patriots versus the Rams. Kurt Warner and the greatest show on turf. This was considered to be the far superior team versus a young New England Patriots team. Tom Brady only in his second year, right? Has to lead this team. You could say this team is a little ahead of its time, right? Not fully ready. And the Patriots defied expectations and ended up beating the Rams in that Super Bowl.
Isn't this the Tuck Rule year?
This is a Tuck Rule year. So I know you're upset about that a little bit.
Yeah, this is why.
But either way, in the Super Bowl, it was a young Patriots team that wasn't expected to win. They were expected to have. They weren't even expected to get there, really, right? Very young, didn't have too much experience, and still pulled out the win. I see history repeating itself here. I see Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals beating the Rams. And this is not biased. It's not because I'm rooting for the Bengals, but I truly believe that this Bengals team is going to win it.
So how does that happen, bro? What do the Bengals do?
I put down my keys to win. All right? And it's Joe Burrow, just so you know, is not on here. I get the hype that Joe Burrow gets, and he deserves it big time. But he's not the main reason this Bengals team has been making it so far.
Who's the reason?
Defense. Ryan Tannehill throws 3 interceptions in the divisional round.
Very true.
Patrick Mahomes throws 2 interceptions, both happening in the second half, one happening in overtime. Right? They held the Chiefs to 3 points. They hold the Titans to 16 points. They hold the Raiders, who were going hot into the playoffs,
to 10.
No, to about 17 points.
Yeah, I don't remember.
16 points. My apologies. To 16 points. Right? I mean, Joe Burrow's been playing some great football, and he played very well in that second half versus the Chiefs. But guys like Trey Hendrickson, Jesse Bates, those guys need to be
Cheeto
Bayawuzie. Those guys need to be given credit for what they're doing, shutting down. So that's my first key. My other one, second half.
They're second half.
They're one of the best second half teams in football. Great with the adjustments, especially defensively. Right? And that's so huge for a team, and especially because they're going against a team like the Rams, who in every single game we can argue, besides the Cardinals one, they don't play a full set of 4 quarters. No. Perfect.
And I think the only reason they won the Cardinals one was because Kyler was already shook, and he kind of already.
The Cardinals team was very limping their way into the playoffs with first of all, no DeAndre Hopkins, and they kind of lost the momentum that they had early in the season. But either way, they almost choked to the Bucks, and for the most part, the Niners had them through 3 quarters until the Niners themselves choked in the 4th. Right? This is not a Rams team that's been dominant. Right?
Yeah.
And then again, what have we said every single week? Going against the Titans, who was expected to win? Tennessee. Kansas City, what did people say actually? This one was even a little more extreme. They have no chance of winning.
They're going to get dominated.
Yep, they have no chance of winning in Kansas City. That's what people said.
And they were getting dominated in the first half.
Yeah, they were.
The second half came around, let's take this dub.
Best second half team in football. Yep. And then so I also put the second half because of that fact. They're one of the best second half teams in football, and I believe those second half adjustments could be the key to the Bengals winning this game.
Like they have been all adjustments.
Like they have been all playoffs. My other one, for the offense though, I do have one X factor. It's not Joe Burrow.
The other Joe.
It's not Jamar Chase. It's Joe Mixon. The Bengals are going to win this game. If the Bengals are going to win this game, which I expect them to win, they're going to do it because of Joe Mixon in that running game.
Yep.
They have to rely on that running game because I think what the reason the Bengals are going to win this game is because the Rams don't have an exceptional rush defense, to be honest. It's probably one of the weaker parts of their defense. If Joe Mixon can start being the workhorse for the Bengals in this game, it saves Joe Burrow time, and it kind of counteracts that offensive line versus defensive line matchup that is a huge mismatch for the Bengals right now, right? What they need is to survive off the play action. They need the run game to work. And for the most part, while this O-line for the Bengals has been bad, they have been a much better run blocking team compared to pass blocking. Yep. It's a strange phenomenon a little bit. Mm-hmm. But that's going to be the key to the game, and that's why I think the Bengals are going to win, because Joe Mixon is going to help establish that run game, and then that's going to help Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, C.J. Uzomah, that stellar pass offense is going to thrive off the play action. And the last part I put, and it adds on to the defensive part. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Trey Hendrickson, all these great defensive linemen for the Bengals have to put pressure on Matthew Stafford, force him to make throws he doesn't like, get him off his base, which is very possible.
And get him to throw interception, because we know that the Rams, when Matthew Stafford gives up the ball...
I think their record is definitely...
Yeah, they're struggling.
Yeah.
I would have to say that I understand every single point that you made.
Yeah.
But I don't have the Bengals. I have the Los Angeles Rams. You know why? It's because I believe the Rams get off to hot starts. Mm-hmm. And even though they didn't against the Niners, I feel like the Niners were the better team. First of all, this is the first Super Bowl where both teams neither of them were dominant throughout the entire season. But the Rams are the older team. They're the team that has a little bit more experience in the playoffs.
They have a couple guys who have played in that Super Bowl.
So I think that they will get off to a better start. Mm-hmm. I think that the Bengals will be a little shook at first. And the biggest reason why the Rams win is because the Bengals will have to come back, meaning they have to pass. They can't rely on Joe Mixon. Mm. And so what that will do is now I have a guarantee that Aaron Donald and Von Miller will combine for at least 3.5 sacks.
Okay.
And on top of that, Joe Burrow will not pass for over 250 yards.
All right.
So I have the Rams taking the dub. I even got the score.
What do you have?
24-10.
Wow, so you have the Rams kind of in control the entire game.
They're in control the entire game.
I had the Bengals winning 24-17. And see, I can't argue with your points too much in this aspect because you're right. On paper, the Rams are just a way more talented team, right? They have a way better D-line. The fact that the Bengals even got this far with their O-line is amazing.
Yeah.
Right? But while you could say maybe the Bengals have a more complete receiving core, and maybe they have better safeties, right? And, you can argue Joe Burrow maybe over Matthew Stafford in some aspects. Joe Mixon definitely over. While they have more offensive talent, it's such a huge mismatch between the D-line and the O-line that can completely counteract every other matchup that favors the Bengals. Because those are the two biggest matchups. Yeah. Lineman matchups are the biggest.
They affect the entire game.
They affect the entire game. Because if an O-line is not able to perform, then none of the talent, from receivers to running backs to quarterbacks, can do what they want to do.
And literally, you saw this with the Panthers when they went against the Broncos.
That's a great example.
Von Miller was on that team, and he's on this team too.
Yeah, and it was a young Panthers team that had that energy. They had that swagger.
They even had the MVP, who was shook. Yep. Didn't even want to go and get the fumble. because he was that shook. And on top of that, we just saw that even more recently with the Chiefs against the Bucks, where Patrick Mahomes lost both of his tackles, and you saw him running around the entire game. His receivers couldn't even catch the ball, and the Chiefs did not have control at all throughout that game.
See, okay. Amazing. It's actually a great argument. And again, I can't flat out say, Travis, you're wrong. Like, dude, like, what are you saying, bro? Like, come on, are you serious? Like, I can't do that because it's a valid reasoning. The Rams, on paper, should be the more talented team and should dominate this game. But it's the fact that I've seen this from the Bengals every single week, right? And again, you talked about a situation where the Bengals are down and having to mount back, right? It's 21-10. The Bengals had to throw the ball. And again, this is not a Chiefs D-line that is terrible. They have Chris Jones, Frank Clark, Melvin Ingram they got at the end of the season, right? Every reason for that Chiefs defense to just feast that game. But they didn't. Because I saw those adjustments, and I saw the key with Joe Burrow's success, quick passing game, play action. And he was much more poised in this one compared to the Titans game.
Yeah.
Right? I just expect this Bengals team again to be what we've seen from them all season, which is maybe they could start off a little rough, of course, and the Rams could jump out to a lead. But we have seen this Bengals team mount back from deficits so many times this season. They are battle tested. And at this point in the season now, you can definitely say that this team isn't going to get phased by any lead.
Man.
They're not going to get phased. They're battle tested. They're ready for everything. Their confidence is peak.
Man, I'm really excited for this game.
No, it's gonna be a fun game.
But I don't know if Jalen doesn't line up on Jamar Chase at least half of the game. I'm pissed.
He should.
I'm pissed.
I know they put Jalen Ramsey in what they call like that star position, where they put him in slots sometimes and all that because they want to have him everywhere on the field. But this is the game now where
if you take out Jamar Chase from this game, game's over. I'm saying that right now. If Jamar Chase,
I would argue different. Because they still got T. Higgins and they got Tyler Boyd. And I think those two can I think Darius Williams could be a little bit of a weak link right there against T. Higgins. Believe me.
I don't think so. I'm just gonna say this right now. Jamar Chase has under 100 yards in this game. Bengals lost.
Hey, Jamar Chase had under 100 last game and the Bengals still won. Because of T. Higgins.
Not against the Rams.
Because of Tyler Boyd. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what I've seen from this Bengals team so far.
I don't know,
and
man.
Truthfully, you want to know what else I think? I think that the Chiefs team is better than the Rams team that they're facing right now.
That is at times.
Yeah.
I think the Rams at different parts of the game look at the best team in the entire league.
Again, I have not seen the Rams play a full set of 4 quarters.
Yeah,
in a big game this season.
There is times throughout games though that the Rams look like the best team in the league. Cannot be stopped. They can do whatever they want. Then there's times where they look like they're the Jets. They look like the Jaguars.
Just can't move the ball.
What are you
turnover heavy? But I guess we'll just have to wait and see till Sunday. Should be fun. All right.